Here's an update on my pool table project. I put this project aside for about 10 years and came back to it. The pool table is done. It came out fantastic, and I use it quite regularly, and it's been a source of nice entertainment for my home in the basement. The series last left off with the dry fit of the leg components all ready to be assembled. I'll pick it up from there. So what I did was pre-stain and pre-finish all the components before gluing them together in the leg system, and it went together really easy. There was nice flexibility with the loose tenon joinery, and everything went together as planned. Here I have the leg system leveled out and the pool table in the position where it's going to be. The bottom of the legs, you can see the collars on there now. They look like the legs are sitting on those, but they're actually collars that disguise any adjustments I needed to make underneath for leveling. Here's a shot of the leg system from the donor table, and you can see the two verticals that are sticking up at the top. I designed my leg system to be the same, where I have these verticals coming out of the legs that are used to bolt the main beams across and attach the two legs together. And I'm using the old beams from the donor table, and you can see here that they're bolted to the new leg system. With the three main beams in place, it's time to put some cross supports on. And the cross supports are nothing more than 3/4 inch plywood, but they're spaced so that the slate joints will fall on the inner two cross slats that you see. And there's also blocks in between for support and shimming opportunities for the slate. And so essentially you've created a plane for the slate to sit on that's consistent across the entire pool table. I glued 3/8 inch material underneath the edge of the slate and used a flush cut bit to trim it even with the inside of the pockets and the edge of the table. This is so that I can wrap the cloth around underneath and staple it rather than gluing it on underneath, which is another way to put the felt on a pool table. So with the slate leveled and the seams dressed between the pieces, it was time to put the felt on the pool table. And I won't cover that in this video, but it came out pretty well, and I'm satisfied with it, and I think it looks great. I'm using the rails from the donor table, but I had to veneer the outside. It had a Formica type plastic veneer on them, and so what I did with that was I scuffed it up, and then I used P90 high strength spray adhesive to adhere a paper-backed veneer. I use paper-backed veneer because it'll take this curve and not crack. So after the veneer was in place, I used a utility knife from the underside and trimmed the veneer flush with the edge of all the pockets and the joints and all that. And there was a lot of rolling, with the J-roller and pressing and all that, but it adhered great and it looks amazing. Next, I applied the stain and the finish to the rails, and let the stain sit on there for a while, and then wipe it off. And you can see the raise and the flex, the course on white oak popped out nicely. I inlaid buffalo head nickels for the point marks on the table. I'm from Buffalo. It was a nice fit. I saw it on a table years ago and thought it was a cool thing to do. And here's a shot of the rails finished with the upholstery on them and ready to be installed on the table. Next up is what I'm calling the skirt boards that go around the outside of the table underneath the rails. And there's two different styles. What you see here are the ones that are used for the long side of the table that break by the side pocket and have one arc at either end by the corner pocket. And the skirts for the end of the table have an arc on both sides by the pockets. The skirt boards are basically laminated cabinet grade plywood with a 1/4 sawn white oak veneer on the outside and hardwood trimming the arc sections. And they attach to the table with cleats that are glued and screwed on the back. Where the side skirt boards came together at the side pocket left a gap, and I originally designed it that way, but after I installed everything I didn't like it. So I went and put a piece of art glass between there to bridge that gap. And I thought that was a nice touch, and so I added the same thing at the head and the foot of the table to give it that cohesive look all around. And I'm really pleased with the addition of that art glass to the skirt boards. I think it looks great. I guess it wasn't 100% accurate when I said the pool table's finished. I do have an outstanding item, which is how to address the corners here. I plan on doing something similar here as to what I did on where the side rails come together at the side pocket. install a piece of hand hammered copper to cover the joint where the rails meet at the corners. Well, that does it for this video. To see the other videos in this series and videos on other great woodworking topics, visit eagleLakeWoodworking.com.